In the last several days, we got a chance to talk to so many different killer clowns out there. Boba the Clown, Moba the Clown, and even the leader himself, Booba the Clown, in which all of them got a chance to talk about the very disturbing and cryptic purge that is set to happen on October 31st of this year. And the question is, will it really happen? Well, we got a chance to talk to another clown earlier today, somebody by the name of Johnny the Clown, in which this time around, Johnny gave us some very exclusive details concerning what will happen on October 31st. We'll take you to it right now. We kicked off the interview by asking simply, so what's going to happen on October 31st of 2021? He replied back by saying, and you still don't know? It's a purge we want. That's what we want to do. We then proceeded to ask, well, I understand that a purge is something you all are looking to do on October 31st. I understand that. But can you explain in detail exactly what you plan on doing within the purge? He replied back by saying, this is what we have in mind. We are sending messages to a lot of our clowns out there. We are sending the messages to influence them to be in groups on October 31st. Once they're in groups, I want the clowns to be armed and start to scare the community. If anybody decides to attack us, we will fight back. We also want to go in people's windows to stare at them. We'll go around the streets and scream at people. We are going to go to different complexes and enter the buildings to start making mayhem. Is that good enough details for you? I then said, okay, so it's evident that you have your plan set on the 31st. However, you seem to be leaving some details out of the plan. Cops, policemen, and potentially even the military will or could be on standby. So if any of you guys harm the society, no, we are prepared. You understand that? He then said, huh, oh, you are so petty. Of course we understand this. That's what we want. We want the police out there. We want the police to be prepared. Now remember, we won't harm anybody unless we are provoked. So do you understand that? We then proceeded to say, quote, I clearly understand that. I just don't understand why you guys chose October 31st, which is Halloween night. Why that day out of all the days? He then said, what a dumb question to ask. We chose Halloween because it's the Day of the Dead. Now, don't get it wrong. We aren't looking to bring deaths on this day, but we are looking to resurrect the dead. That's what we want. We then said, to resurrect the dead? Please further explain what you mean. He proceeded to say, to go out and bring the dead energy into this world. If we all dress as killer clowns and purge, negative energy floods over communities and it connects us with the dead. The dead loves the negative energy. We want to please them. We then asked, but we thought the reason behind your incoming purge was because you guys were rejected in life. Now it's because you want to connect with the dead? He said, quote, you dumb blank. It's the dead. That's what we want to connect with. But it's also us being rejected. We were rejected all our lives, which is why we are doing this. This is what we want. We want you all to suffer with the suffering we took. We then asked, what kind of sufferings have you guys endured in this world? He then said, we were picked on. We were thrown into the roads. We were laughed at. Until one day, we were sick of it. We decided to group up in 2015 and plan to rise, which is why we grew in 2016. We then proceeded to ask, you guys did grow into prominence in 2016. Multiple media outlets were covering the clown scare. But that was then, this is now. 2021 is very different than that of 2016, and you guys don't seem as credible. How do you respond to that? He responded by saying, quote, I respond to nothing, ironically. We aren't here to gain credit. We aren't here to get fame or for people to believe us. I don't give a blank what people believe or don't believe. What we care about is justice. That's what we want. We want justice for everything that's happened. which is why on October 31st, we want to group up and purge. And if it doesn't happen this year, then we will do it next year, in the year after, in the year after, until it finally happens. The goal is to do it this year, though. We then asked, do you have a family? Brothers and sisters? Moms and dads? He answered, I have a sister. We then asked, how does she react to all of this? He said, she's not the happiest person. She told me to come back home, but I denied. I told her that something has to happen to make people understand that what they did to us was wrong. The society has blood on their hands. They do, and they'll pay for it. We then asked, would you ever take a step back just for her? It seems that you might care for her. He went on to say, as much as I care for her, I vowed I'm not doing it. I made a promise that I'm not stopping for anybody. I don't care who you are. I'm not backing down on this, and I promise you, I'm going to make good on my promise. How will it look if we step down? How will it look if we back out of this? It would bring shame to us. It would also send a message to everyone else that it's okay to continue to reject us. We don't want that to happen. We don't want any of that stuff to happen. So no, I won't back down for her or for anybody. We then asked, why do you have to be so hard on yourself? It's almost as if you would rather be happy, but instead choose chaos and mayhem. He then said, you don't get it, do you? In order for me to be happy, I have to do this. Beforehand, I had a different definition of being happy. But it's not like that anymore. Times have changed. And now in order for me to be happy, I have to destroy everyone and everything. He then asked, here's my final question. You really are serious about October 31st, 2021, right? What's your ultimate goal for that day? He then said, yes, I want the world to see us prove on October 31st. And my goal for that day, to at least purge in one of the main states of this country. That's our goal. And if we don't meet that goal, we always have next year. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it seems that it's getting worse and worse and worse. Over the past few days, we've been talking about, like I said, kidnappings and abductions and purging, but now we got some details exactly how that's going to happen. We understand that the clowns are going to group up. The clowns are going to be absolutely armed, and they're going to be going into people's windows, and they're going to be staring at people and in the streets, run around, screaming at people, causing chaos and destruction. You got to be absolutely kidding me. October 31st is the set date, ladies and gentlemen. That is the set date for this clown purge. For the first time in history, we could be seeing a clown purge. And let's not forget the goal that this man, John of the Clown, set out. He wants one of the main states in the United States to be purged. What is he talking about? Could be perhaps maybe New York. Could be perhaps Florida. Could be California. Could be Texas. Whatever the case may be, all states should be on alert. We're crying out loud. These sickos, these psychopaths, are still influencing others to rise up and group up to make sure that the purge does indeed happen. And for crying out loud, this has begun to be sickening. This has already been sickening. I mean, what do you say here? What do I have to say here? Honestly, all I know is that I understand the policemen. I understand that so many police officers will be on standby. I understand that many of them will be on duty, ladies and gentlemen. I understand that if there is some sort of sick purge out there, there will be a military action. You best believe that. These killer clowns are angering not only me, but I bet a lot of other people out there. I bet they're angering so many other people out there, and it's become to the point where this is absolutely bonkers. Anyhow, I'm trying to remain objective here, but just after reading the conversations and asking the questions and trying to get the answers, these killer clowns are hell-bent in making sure October 31st, 2021 was the day the killer clowns purged. Thanks for joining us, everybody. As always, like, comment, and subscribe, share it with your friends, and please be safe on October 31st of the month of Halloween. And on Halloween night, that's the question. Will anything happen? Will the killer clowns become prominent? Thanks for joining us. We will see you next time.